Hi everybody. Welcome back to part 8 of Bumps in the Night series. I am Tracy Ford, your host and creator of this channel as well as this series. Tonight we are rewinding to December of 2011. I apologize for the jumping back and forth, but there are certain things that I think need to be covered. One of those is the fact that in December 2011, my husband and I ventured to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where we went hiking through the Bays Mountains looking for Bigfoot via a guide. Yes, I do believe in Bigfoot, and I am a Bigfoot hunter. Not too far from Salt Fork Lake, and why is it out of the realm of possibility for there to be creatures that we have not found or categorized yet? But that's a whole different episode. Anyway, it was about a 4.5-hour hike through the mountains, and there was one portion of the tour where we were talking about the Indians that were indigenous to that area and how they suffered. And when we went through that part of the tour, it was just me, my husband, and the tour guide. And we were going down this ravine, and everything got quiet. There was not a sound that you could hear. Nothing. No birds, nothing. It was just dead silent. Once we got up on the ridge and he had told his story, we could hear again. There was not one point on that trail where I thought, oh, I'm alone. No, there was spirits there the whole time. He even warned us that if we saw something out of the corner of our eye, to let him know. Very informative tour. No, I did not see Bigfoot. I would have probably pissed my pants if I would have. I could smell what I think would probably be accurately described as the smell left by Sasquatch, and we saw countless trees that had been bent over unnaturally, but I did not come face to face with the big hairy guy. We're about almost over. The tour's almost over. We're walking across this bridge, and he says, when you feel something, stop. So I did. I felt some tingling, and he said that he was doing an experiment and that most people were stopping in the same place. My husband didn't feel a thing. He's a skeptic, but yet he's not. Explain that. But anyway, we're going to fast forward a little bit to July of 2012. And I had been soliciting the fine line to publisher after publisher after publisher, getting nowhere. And in the midst of all of that, a friend of mine at my agency had explained to me that there was a supervisor's position coming open in an adjoining county. And I had tried to jump into a leadership role in Western Ohio, but I wasn't even considered for the position. And I really didn't want to leave the girls where I was working. I just didn't want to leave them. I loved them. They were my family. But I also knew that I had student loan debt for a graduate degree, and I needed more money. So I decided to go ahead and submit my application and my resume for that position. And as I was standing in the kitchen one day making my son a sandwich, I can hear things are going to happen very fast. So get ready. And I thought maybe that meant my book or the job. I wasn't sure which one it meant. But in the meantime, I decided to start the Southern Ohio Ghost Hunters. for the purposes of studying local legend and ghost hunting. Boy, was I stupid. I did not think that out at all. And so my husband and I and two other people decide to go debunk the legend of two of our graveyards around here and a bridge. And I remember the first graveyard, we caught some really good footage of some apparitions and some ghosts. And the second graveyard was creepier. It was a full moon. It was like a horror movie. And so my husband's in the truck most of the time, but the three other of us were out there, and we got some audio footage of a girl crying. And then there was a part of that graveyard that I knew not to cross over into, and one of the people that we were with did not have that same instinct, and they went ahead and ran across the field. And when they did, they came running back and screamed, "Get in the truck, everybody get in the truck." You didn't have to tell me twice. So I got in the truck and I asked him what happened, and he said that when he crossed over into that portion, he felt like he was not wanted, and then heard someone running through the woods towards him. So then we go to the bridge, and I'm basically told by my better self not to get out at that bridge, so I don't. We come back to the house, we analyze everything. We got some really good findings that night. But I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday, but, let me go back. Nightmares started for me. And I would be in the bedroom and I would feel like someone was watching me. And this happened right after we got home. Now, I thought it was probably the heebie-jeebies that everybody gets doing these. But when the next morning, my bed was shaken, and it shook me awake. Well, my dog is 100 pounds. So I naturally thought, well, he's come in and he's bumped up against the bed like he usually does to wake me up. And I go out into the family room and I'm like, dude, the dog just woke me up. And my husband's like, no, the dog's been outside for about a half hour. Needless to say, I was a little more than creeped out. And I laid down with my husband that afternoon for a nap, and I could feel the sheet being picked up off my legs and dropped. Picked up and dropped. Picked up and dropped. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good at all. The next thing I remember, it was the evening. I was sleeping. I was sitting up sleeping because I was having trouble with my acid reflux. And I remember dreaming of this man, and I could see him from the neck down. And his skin was gray. He was frail. It was pitiful. And he looked like a Holocaust victim to me. And I remember him reaching over my husband towards me. And I woke myself up, smacking his hand out of the way. The next thing that happened was on a Friday. It had been almost a week. I was on my laptop in my recliner. My husband was outside. I believe my son was with us. I can't remember if he was playing or where he was. But I felt this intense heat from my head to my feet. I could not breathe, couldn't hear, couldn't think. Now take into account that this whole time, there was no communication with spirit and my spirit guides. None. It was almost like I had been cut off. And I could not yell, couldn't scream, started praying, nothing helped. So the next day I start researching, and I find that heat is associated with demonic spirit. And I'm thinking, great, I have brought a demon into my house. And my personal feeling is it wasn't attached to me initially. It was attached to someone else, and that person brought it to me. And so I was Sunday, and we were out at my cousin-in-law's, and after we got home, I'm showering, I'm standing in the mirror, washing or combing my hair, and I can feel something like right here. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And I can feel it like so close that it's suffocating. So at that point I get mad and start yelling and rebuking it and telling it to get out of here, that it doesn't belong here. Now, the whole time that this is happening, I've contacted the person I think this thing belongs to and said, we need to do a cleansing. And I've been told point blank, we're not doing a cleansing, which told me that whatever was attached to this person enjoyed having this attachment. I did not. So I'm yelling and I'm screaming and I'm telling it to get out, and the instant that it left, it was almost like the speakers on a radio system came on and I could finally hear my spirit guides again and Creator. And it was like the earplugs had been pulled out of my ears. So I decided right then and there would be no more ghost hunts. Not for me. So the beginning of July, I have my first interview at this new agency. And I successfully completed the interviews and the all of the steps that they needed me to take, and they chose me to head up that unit in that county for child welfare. And it was something I knew that I needed to do. I wondered if I was capable of it and equipped with the knowledge that I needed to be a supervisor in that field, but I knew that there was a bigger plan, so I did it. But in saying that and in doing that, I was leaving my girls. I was leaving my family at this other agency, and these women that I had depended on, that had depended on me, and I was also leaving my best friend and my cheerleader for my books. But all of them were supportive, all of them understood. And in the midst of all this, I'm getting emails from this possible publisher, and I get the final email saying, I've submitted it to sales and they think it's crap. They think that your book, The Fine Line, is crap. So I was throwing my hands up at that point saying, you know what, I'm never going to be published. The book probably sucks and nobody's going to read it, and that's why nobody's picking it up. So the next time we meet, we are going to be talking about my experience with publication as well as a successful ghost hunt, and that will lead us into week 9 of this 10-part series. So love and light to you. Have a great day wherever you are. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.